In El Salvador, we have the details of a new mega prison that opened its doors just this year, which has led to a sharp decline in crime. In Texas, a man is shot and killed over a barbecue pit. And in New York, a convicted murderer is freed on a ridiculous technicality. These stories and more coming at you today, Thursday, February 22nd on Real Life Real Crime Daily, and I'm Jim Chapman.
I'm Woody Overton.
And I'm Mike Agavino, and 3.6 seconds into today's episode, Jim violated bylaw number 7.6.
It don't take long.
Bored.
Gonna have to think about filing a complaint on Jim taking an El Salvador story. But you know, it's Thirsty Thursday, so maybe we'll let that go on Thirsty Thursday.
I think it's a drink in El Salvador. Like Mexico, it's a margarita.
Yeah.
I think cocaine's the drink.
That's Colombia.
Yeah.
I know, but they're not too far away from each
I'll
other.
have to get back to you on that one. But let's get down to some crime time for Thirsty Thursday, gentlemen.
All right, and we're going to talk about El Salvador. And look, one of the, it wasn't too long ago that they had the highest crime rate, and it was one of the most dangerous places in the entire world. El Salvador has made some huge strides towards solving that issue, and they built a new mega prison, and they are filling it up with gang members from all over the place. MS-13 specifically is housed there, along with some other really dangerous gangs. So they wear white shirts and shorts, and most of them were captured during El Salvador's state of exception, as they call it, and they are gradually filling that mega prison. Unveiled earlier this year, the prison is 45 miles southeast of the capital and currently holds some 12,000 accused or convicted gang members. Yeah, to put that into perspective, Bloody Angola holds around 6,500.
Yeah, on 18,000 acres.
On 18,000 acres, yeah. It's the actual prison is the interior of that prison is the size of 3, not football fields, football stadiums.
What?
That's the size of it. It can hold over 40,000 convicts.
Gotta be the largest in the world.
Gotta be.
I think Jerry Jones consulted them on the build out.
Yeah.
Prisoners here, they don't receive visits. There are no programs preparing them for reinsertion into society after their sentences. There's no workshops or educational programs. The exceptions are the occasional motivational talks from prisoners who have gained a level of trust from prison officials. And prisoners sit in rows on the corridor outside their cells for the talks and are led through exercise regimens under the supervision of guards who surround them. They are never allowed outside.
What?
Absolutely. And
It's like a giant roach motel. Roaches enter, but they don't leave.
Well, the interesting thing is one cell holds 100 inmates.
What?
Yes, sir. 100 inmates per cell. They have 2 toilets in that cell.
2.
Nothing no privacy. I mean, this is a real deal prison right here. The president ordered its construction when El Salvador began making massive arrests early last year in response to a surge in gang violence. Since then, more than 72,000 people have been arrested for being gang members or affiliates. The president, interestingly enough, was reelected with 82% of the vote.
Like that.
Of course, human rights.
He imprisoned everyone who was going to vote against him.
Human rights organizations, they have come out and said there's a lot of violations here.
There's a lot of people getting violated in those 100-man cells.
100%, and these are the worst of the worst, right? And quite frankly, El Salvador has managed to go from being the world's most dangerous country to the safest country in the Americas. Now, that is from the El Salvador president. How did we do it? By putting criminals in jail. Is there space? There is now, he said. The prison's massive scale and lack of any sort of rehab have been criticized. However, it's hard to deny that success and the turnaround that El Salvador has experienced. Their crime rate has dropped nearly 57% in 1 year.
Locked up all
the criminals are locked up.
All the repeat offenders. I tell you what, I made another list. Guarantee place I'm never going. Not the prison in El Salvador.
Well, and I'll tell you this, I watched a kind of like a documentary on YouTube about this prison, and if you're in El Salvador, you ain't wanting to break the law. Yeah, I can tell you that, because you end up over here, man.
It's like the gladiator school.
Oh, my gosh, it's crazy. And they intentionally lock these rival gangs up together in the same cell.
Survival of the fittest.
Yeah, and they say that they've come up with kind of a peace agreement between these rival gangs, because you're 100 people in one cell. I mean, what are you going to do?
Kill each other.
Yeah.
It's entertainment.
Yeah.
Well, inmate 99 might not be in, he might be dating a lot of guys in that cell.
Yeah, somebody is. Somebody's washing drawers and tossing salads.
Well, I've read some stuff about this. There's some other countries that have had similar levels of crime looking at this and trying to decide whether they should follow the model or not. I guess
if you lock up all the known gang members, that's certainly going to be a cut in crime. But other ones will come up to replace them. Crime's never going to stop.
And the way that they're doing it, the actual cost they are bearing for imprisoning these people is far less than what happens in this country. I mean, basically it is a roach motel.
Oh, wow.
It's concrete.
I don't want to go.
And, they feed them for, I found it interesting.
I was going to say, what's the food like?
So for breakfast, for example, they get 3 hots in a cot, right? But the cot is made of concrete. Right. And they get a towel, basically, is all they get in a sheet. But for breakfast, they get 2 tortillas, like some sauce, almost like a jalapeno sauce, and a little bit of a cream mixture. They do not get meat at all.
Really?
No meat is allowed.
The cream mixture.
The cream mixture might have the 100 guys.
Could be.
I don't know about the cream mixture.
I mean, it's a cream mixture.
Secret sauce.
Might be the same cream mixture Olaf.
It looks like a sour cream or something, but that's what they get.
Another thing I'm not eating.
Every meal.
Is that
breakfast, lunch, and dinner? That's what they get. 2 tortillas, salsa of some sort, and a cream mixture.
Yeah, cream mixture.
It covers all the basic food groups.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure.
No protein, because they don't want to build muscle.
Oh, they're getting some protein in there.
God, that is. So there's a doc out on that where you see inside the place.
Yeah. I watched it yesterday on YouTube.
The world's toughest prison.
It's a good scared straight video for some folks. Let's go to Michigan for an unbelievable
home of Tom Brady.
Unbelievable
the landing strip.
It is not the home of Tom Brady.
It was at one point.
It's where he attended school.
He lived there for a little while.
And got drafted in the 7th round or whenever he got drafted. 5th round? What did he get drafted?
Mr. Irrelevant.
No, he wasn't Mr. Irrelevant, but he wasn't that far away. He was a lot closer to Mr. Irrelevant than he was to being a top pick, but he made that all work for him, didn't he?
Spark something uncommon this holiday with just the right gift from Uncommon Goods. The busy holiday season is here, and Uncommon Goods makes it less stressful with incredible hand-picked gifts for everyone on your list, all in one spot. Gifts that spark joy, wonder, delight, and that's exactly what I wanted feeling. Hey, y'all, I ordered a super cool piece. It's a candle with a sculpture of LSU's Tiger Stadium on top of it. And each officially licensed laser cut wooden replica features up to 4 layers of detail, creating a bird's eye view of a specific football field, seating section, and more. And every label includes your stadium's name, the team's logo, and school location. And it has a coconut, soy, vegan wax infused with sandalwood smell that creates tailgates and touchdown scent profile, reminiscent of game day. It's invigorating like fresh cut grass and nostalgic like smoke from a pre-game grill, and calming like the crisp autumn air of a new semester on campus. Y'all, I love it. I have it at the base of my TV, and I'm ready to watch the Tigers play on Saturday night, right? Uncommon Goods. Look, when you shop at Uncommon Goods, you're supporting artists and small independent businesses. And many of their handcrafted products are made in small batches. So shop now before they sell out this holiday season. Uncommon Goods looks for products that are high quality, unique, and often handmade or made in the U.S. They have the most meaningful, out of the ordinary gifts anywhere. They even have gifts you can personalize. From holiday hosts and hostess gift to the coolest finds for kids to hits for everyone from the book lovers to diehard sports fans. Uncommon Goods has something for everyone, not the same old selections you can just find anywhere. And with every purchase you make at Uncommon Goods, they give $1 to a nonprofit partner of your choice. They've donated more than $3 million to date. So to get 15% off your next gift, go to uncommongoods.com/RLRC. That's uncommongoods.com/RLRC for 15% off. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Uncommon Goods, we're all out of the ordinary. Hey, y'all, let me tell you about Gobble. All Gobble meal kits are pre-prepped. That means less work for you and less waste in your kitchen. Their meal kits include everything you need so you can save time at the store or just skip that trip entirely. I got the box in and I had 3 different meals. I had a Kung Pao chicken, crispy fish tacos, and a beef bourguignon, however you say it. But let me tell you about the classic beef bourguignon. Look, it came with beef pot roast and a beef broth concentrate, red wine demi-glaze, cremini mushrooms, cipollone onions, mashed potatoes, baby carrots, and rosemary thyme butter. It was so easy to make. Literally like 15 minutes it took Cindy. And let me tell you something, and all the dishes were fire, but this thing was like a taste explosion in my mouth. It's just unreal. We've got to spend more time together and more time doing the things we love because everything came in this one single box right to my door. So see what a difference Gobble will make for your household. Right now, they're offering my listeners a fantastic limited time deal. You get $120 off across 4 boxes plus free shipping and free cookies. And let me tell you, those cookies, I ate one that was sin baked and it was delicious. Go to gobble.com/reallife. That's GOBBLE.com/real-life for $120 off your first 4 boxes. This offer is not available on the home site, so don't miss out. This is genius. It's taste explosions in your mouth like you never had.
And they are now national champs. And their coach promptly left right after they became national champs. So all the college coaches are leaving. A Michigan waitress was fired after receiving a shocking $10,000 tip on a bill that totaled $32.43.
Where's the crime in that?
There's a crime, boy. There's a crime, boys. Her restaurant is insisting the dismissal was a, quote, business decision unrelated to the generous tip. Lindsay Boyd, a Michigan mother who received the astonishing tip, was let go from the Mason Jar Cafe in Benton Harbor, Michigan. I've actually been to Benton Harbor, Michigan, despite generously sharing the money with 8 coworkers.
Did you leave the tip?
She shared it with all 8 coworkers. I did not leave that tip. Boyd said in a now deleted Facebook post that drama ensued after an anonymous customer left behind the $10,000 tip to honor a recently departed friend. That middle-aged man in a dark suit wished not to be identified, but said that he was in town for the funeral of a close friend, and he intended to spread some cheer through this generous gratuity. I just gave him a hug. I didn't even know his name at that point, but I gave him a big hug. He then told me he left a memorial of someone very dear to him, and he wanted to do something kind and generous in her name. That's Lindsay Boyd talking. What was supposed to be an upbeat story has taken a very negative turn, as Boyd revealed that she lost her job because of, quote, all of the drama, animosity, and hurt that ensued from the massive tip. The restaurant owners, Abel Martinez and Jamie Cousins, said, quote, labor laws limited what they could share, but claimed that the termination of Boyd had nothing to do with the $10,000 tip.
That's bullshit.
Quote, we cannot comment on the nature of her losing her job due to labor laws and to protect the staff involved, the couple wrote in a Facebook post. However, I will say that it had nothing to do with the tip. She did receive the entire tip. She did not pay taxes on it. The business did.
Huh.
It's kind of weird. Why would the business pay taxes on it? She shared that tip at the request of the man that left it. Boyd offered her side of the story, saying that she was asked to take a mental health day as, quote, drama surrounding the tip unfolded inside the restaurant. Drama ensued, and in an attempt to diffuse the situation and resolve any rumors, things became even worse, she wrote.
I would, not to interrupt you, but I would like to shed some light on why the business paid the tip.
Okay, shed light.
So if you pay for your meal with a debit card and you tip $10,000, the business has to pay the tip. They have to pay the taxes on that tip because it went through their company.
But isn't it a clear pass-through?
No, it goes through their taxes. Like they have to show that 10 grand as income. Then they pay.
But they
the
also
employee.
show it as expense.
They do, but they get taxed on the way in. They get taxed at, you check with your tax advisor, but you definitely get taxed as income because guess what? MasterCard or whoever that is gonna show that as a payment to you. Including that $10,000 because they pay you and you pay your employee.
Maybe he's like Bonnie Willis and he only uses cash.
I don't know if he pulled out 10 G's.
Anyway, drama ensued, and in an attempt to diffuse the situation and resolve any rumors, things became even worse. She did not specify what happened and has since deleted the post and taken her entire Facebook page down. But rumors have circulated suggesting that the staff that was not working that day were angered that they were not included in the sharing of the tip. The staff that was not working the day of the $10,000 tip expected to be cut in and created an extremely dramatic work environment.
Yeah, that's BS.
According to Boyd, the management asked her to take another day off for things to settle down, and then they allegedly did not respond to a text asking if she could return. She was fired over the phone the next day. As the desperate waitress shared her experience, social media users became infuriated, leaving negative reviews on the restaurant's Yelp account and their homepage, as well as on Google. An angry user shared screenshots of Boyd's post and wrote, "This is, in all caps, not what our community is about." Lindsay honored the tipper's wishes and shared this act of kindness when many would have kept it to themselves. I've personally worked with her, and she is one of the most kind and generous humans I've ever worked with. 50 other people jumped in writing wonderful things. I know there is a lot going around that we let her go because of the tip, and that's just not logical, one of the owners told WOOD TV.
WOOD TV.
Well, let me speak of WOOD TV. Shout out to my old pal Paul Boscarino, who ran WOOD radio and TV in Grand Rapids, Michigan for many years.
They should be paying Woody a
Great guy. And why was it called Wood?
Because they were laying the wood.
Bosco was laying the wood. No, Bosco was not laying the wood. That was, at the time, I think it still is, the furniture capital of the United States. They make more furniture in Grand Rapids than anywhere else. At least they did at the time.
Really?
Maybe somewhere in Carolina has called.
I think so.
But back then,
lacquer capital of the world is Carolina.
It was Grand Rapids, and that's where wood came from. Or I could be all wrong, and it could be Woody's thing where
that's what it is.
Where Paul Boscarino was laying a lot of wood there.
They might not be taking
Paul.
to the account the Quakers.
Okay,
the Quakers, people with the horse buggies, they make furniture.
No, those are Amish. They're not in Grand Rapids. Grand Rapids doesn't have an Amish population.
What's the difference in Amish and Quaker?
I don't know.
Sorry.
That'll be in our next episode. The owners wrote on social media that it was purely a business decision, emphasizing again that such decisions are not made lightly or hastily. For now, we're asking all Real Life Real Crime Daily listeners to boycott the Mason Jar Cafe in Benton Harbor until we see justice prevail.
Okay.
Beautiful Benton Harbor, Michigan.
She's going to get a hell of a federal lawsuit.
She's got a wrongful termination.
Exactly.
That's bullshit.
Okay.
It's bullshit.
Yeah. So next time you leave a $10,000 tip, make sure there's no drama around it.
Tomfoolery.
Make sure it's cash, like Fanny would have done.
Yeah.
Or fine.
All right. We're going to go to Texas.
TIs.
And we're going to tell you about a Harris County, Texas homeowner who sadly shot and killed a man after he stole a barbecue pit from his home early Sunday.
I don't think they were sad about it, Jim.
Well, Harris, it's a sad story that someone lost their life, but the Harris County Sheriff Ed Gonzalez posted to social media early Sunday saying deputies responded to a home after reports of a man who had been shot was confirmed dead. An investigation revealed the dead man attempted to steal the shooter's barbecue pit from his home. According to the sheriff, the homeowner discovered his grill had been stolen, chased the suspect down in his own vehicle. That's a no-no. When the homeowner caught up with the thieves who were fleeing with the barbecue pit, he confronted them inside of that vehicle. The homeowner told police he believed the driver of the vehicle was in possession of a gun. Gonzalez said the homeowner feared for his own safety and fired the gun at the suspect, striking him. The second person in the vehicle was not injured and has not been charged with a crime. According to the sheriff, the homeowner was detained and he cooperated fully with investigators, providing a detailed statement about the incident, and the investigation is ongoing and once complete will be handed over to the DA's office.
You don't want to steal barbecue pits in Texas.
Nope.
In Harris County, that's Houston. You might as well stole the truck.
Does it matter? Does it matter if the other guy was armed or not?
I want to know what kind of barbecue pit it was. I don't know. Why would you steal a man's barbecue pit? That's like taking his wife.
Oh, I have no doubt what you would do in this case, but the guy's taken off of your trigger. But does it matter whether the guy was actually armed or not? Because they don't say. It matters. All they say is this guy. Well, I mean, he was driving away with your stolen property. No.
Yeah, it matters if he's armed. If you shoot and kill somebody and they're unarmed and driving away.
Had a gun, right?
That's the story
he's giving.
Shot him.
Yeah, well, I mean, they could have tussled over the gun or whatever. But you know what? He should have stole that motherfucker's barbecue pit. Sorry.
Look, I'm not saying that he didn't have a good excuse. Right. I'm just saying, by the letter of the law, they're going to say, was your life in danger? And if you chase somebody from your house, chase them down, and then shoot them, and they're not armed.
No,
you're going to go to jail.
I think he said he was armed now.
No, he claimed this is the guy who shot him said he was armed, but there's nothing that's come out in the story saying that police have
it does say fired his own gun at the suspect, striking him.
Well, I don't know.
That's the homeowner firing the gun, but right. But all he said is that he thought the other guy had a weapon.
I'm not disagreeing with that.
And they never validate whether they found a weapon or didn't find a weapon. But
Harris County get to the bottom of it. But be still in a man's barbecue pit.
We kind of went through this. I know you listened to it. The story about the guy who gets in a fight with his wife that gets tossed out and not onto the couch. He's got to go sleep in his truck.
Right. And the guy breaks in and he has and he kills him with an AR.
Yeah. So that one's open and shut, right? I mean,
your car is an extension of your home.
Okay. I actually had a listener write me and say, well, does it matter whether that was because my take was that's a pickup truck. The listener's take was, no, maybe it's a 18-wheeler where, sleeping in there, you got but would that matter at all?
Doesn't matter.
No.
You're breaking in your shit. You have a right to defend your shit.
Right.
You have a right to defend yourself, too, and stand your ground. The problem is when somebody's turning to run. So if you broke in my house and I shot you in the back of the front yard.
If they shot at you first and then they run, you can shoot them because you don't know if they're going to turn around and shoot again.
Yeah, unless it takes place in a tuck area.
Yeah, the tuck.
Is it Taqueria?
Taqueria.
It's Taqueria. I'm sorry. Don't write me.
Hey, that was Harris County, too.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Maybe it was related to him.
Yeah.
He was taking a barbecue pit to cook some tacos.
There, you shot him. You shot him in the back.
I don't know.
I don't know if
interesting.
We'll see what happens.
I'm gonna look it up to see what kind of barbecue pit it was.
What if it was
one of those
a
like
shitty
$19
ones? He's going to jail.
One
If
of
it
those
was
little
a,
round $19 ones
Little
with
red
little
ones with
plastic
3 legs.
if it's top of the line, he's innocent.
Hey, some of those cook pretty good though. I had one
burn
cooked
some
pretty
burgers
good.
on it.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of stealing, I actually thought about giving this to Jim for They Stole What, but I knew he was going to screw me early in the episode, so I didn't give it to him. But in the state of Washington, officials have arrested 2 people believed to be members of an organized crime group, and they seized thousands of dollars worth of stolen cosmetics. The Linwood Police Department responded to calls of a theft in progress at a makeup store in the Alderwood Mall back on Feb 1. Upon arrival, they were told by, this is the new language, obviously, loss prevention employees. So security guards gone, right? There's no such thing.
They've always had loss prevention.
That's right.
They're undercover.
They work directly for the store, where security guards are hired by the store.
Right.
Oh, so not everyone is loss prevention.
No.
These are okay. Because we had a guy in our dumb criminal story that was a loss prevention guy. But upon arrival, they were told by a loss prevention employee that 2 suspects were stealing makeup products. The employee was able to confirm that the suspects were the same people involved in another makeup theft that happened on January 31st. So that was a day earlier. Officials were soon able to take the suspects and their vehicle into custody. They discovered over $12,000 worth of stolen cosmetics in the vehicle. That's a lot of eyeliner.
It's like 2 compacts.
And makeup and lipstick and all of that kind of stuff. Police have not released the names of the suspects. Pictures shared by police show a massive pile, which I just showed to these guys, of eyeliner, mascaras, face powders, and all kinds of other stuff. The department believes that the thieves are members of a Romanian organized traveling retail crime ring. Romanian organized traveling retail crime ring. Come up with the acronym for that. And the products are being shipped across state lines to be sold for pennies on the dollar. One of the suspects charged and jailed in the organized retail theft in the first degree, and the other thief, a juvenile, was released to their parents. According to local news, the accused were first raiding a Kohl's in Linwood City, and then were arrested in February after stealing from a Sephora in the Alderwood Mall. According to the Washington Examiner, federal investigators have linked major retail theft incidents back to criminal organizations in Europe and South America. Michael J. Kroll, a special agent with the Department of Homeland Security, said one such group is the Romanian Organized Theft Group, or ROTG. The group is suspected of sending non-U.S. citizens into the country with the sole objective of stealing. A recent DHS investigation in Missouri revealed the existence of an ROTG comprised completely of previously deported individuals. These ROTGs wire illicit proceeds back to Romania, the agent said. Linwood City is part of the Seattle Metro and is about 16 miles to the north of Seattle. As a result of the routine shoplifting occurring across the country, data from Capital One Research estimates that stores lost $87 billion to retail theft in 22 and over $100 billion in 2023.
Sorry, it's so expensive.
These crazy Romanian makeup thieves.
Well, and it's, in that case, it's makeup, but retail theft overall is just ridiculous.
Out the box.
Yeah, you got to almost budget in. And believe it or not, employee theft makes up a lot of that.
Yep.
I
usually the managers stealing.
I didn't think any of those crunchy women up in Seattle even wear makeup. My experience up there.
Oh, my God.
It's a lot of flannel. It's women in flannel without makeup. I'm surprised they can steal that much.
Great Lifer fans up there. We love y'all. And
I'm gonna get love letters.
Y'all
on that one.
feel free to bash Mike at will.
I love flannel. Flannel looks great on a woman.
Not everybody in Washington wears flannel.
Not 1,000 listeners.
It's more Oregon. It's more Oregon. It's more Oregon.
All right. Well, I love them up there. So
I do too. All right, I was going to give this story to Woody, and I realized two things. One, it was 3 pages long, and
shit,
there's no way Woody's going to read a 3-page
He's
story.
got it in his contract, a 1.5-page limit.
That's it. And then the other thing was it had Gwyneth Paltrow in it. So there's no way, but there's
I thought
definitely
she was dead, but she wasn't.
No, there's definitely a crime here, and we're going to tell you about it. So, pleasure has a dark side. The glamorous founder of the once trendy sexual wellness empire OneTaste. Her name is Nicole Dayton. She's 56, and its former CEO, Rachel Sherwitz, who is 43, are on trial. They're going on trial next year, and they're accused of running a cult which forced workers into sex and followers into debt. This is a crazy story. Right. The duo appeared in federal court Brooklyn on Thursday of last week, trailed by a glam squad entourage represented by basically $1,000 an hour attorneys. They definitely don't have a problem paying for attorneys and things like that due to all the money they've made off this OneTaste product. They could face years in prison if found guilty of the charges. And it is a big time fall for Dayton, who was once given a place on the TEDx talk stage for a 15-minute talk about the female orgasm, and a good friend of Gwyneth Paltrow's. Paltrow's Goop website talks up OneTaste, which is also endorsed by Khloe Kardashian. It rakes in about $12 million a year.
Gwyneth sells those vagina scented candles. That's like her number one selling product is the vagina scented.
Well, under the guise of sexual wellness, OneTaste has built an empire focusing on the female orgasm through its orgasmic meditation. Dayton trademarked the technique, which involves a woman undressing from the waist down, lying on a nest of pillows to have her genitals stroked, usually by a man wearing a latex glove and lasting about 15 minutes.
There you go.
Dayton claims she learned this.
Is this kinky crime or what? I didn't hear the music.
It wasn't. That's what I said. It was going to be a kinky crime.
But you explained it very well, because in the beginning I'm listening and I'm thinking it's some kind of like sex product or whatever, but this is an actual act.
This is an actual act.
I just looked it up. It's
So she claims she learned that act from a Buddhist monk.
A horny Buddhist monk.
Allegations of rape, sexual abuse, and manipulation, however, and that is no laughing matter, were sparked by an FBI investigation which started in 2018 and led to the arrest in middle of 2023. Now prosecutors say that the owners preyed on vulnerable customers by marketing its company as a help to heal sexual trauma, then forced members into debt to pay for its courses. It's basically, long story short, it's like a tantra technique, but it took off. It grew legs, and then these influencers like Gwyneth Paltrow and Khloe Kardashian started promoting it, and it absolutely blew up. They were holding open houses and offering courses which started for $195 for a workshop, but then went to $2,000 per week and $16,000 to be a coach.
Yeah, they like that. The next book's a little more expensive.
That's right. So essentially, it was revealed in 2015 that they paid $325,000 for an out-of-court settlement for a former employee who was claiming sexual harassment and some other claims. They've had a lot of problems over the years, but it looks like they are finally going to face the music and answer for this tantric technique that has a lot. It just appears that it's a big scam.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So, is the business itself illegal? I don't know. I don't see.
Well, the problem was someone has to come in and tickle those genitals, right? And so they were having men go in there to show these techniques, and a few of these women were not apparently comfortable with that. There were some rape allegations involved. One, they've been called a prostitution ring at one point. a cult at one point, and there's just a lot of moving parts to this. But it's one of these new age.
It's kind of sounds like that Nexium thing. Remember the Nexium?
It's crazy.
Very similar, but it shows the power of influence,
right?
Out there, these influencers on social media.
You find basically they found people who were weak and hurting, seeking answers for sexual healing. No pun intended, Marvin Gaye, but and used them, right?
Yeah.
And they got money out of them.
And they got money and a lot of it, and I think that's where a lot of the issue is coming. Is they were essentially just taking every dime they could from from an individual.
Coach, and look how much success you had. Now buy the more expensive book, and then ultimately you can be a coach yourself.
Yeah, and there's an interesting quote, and I'll leave this story, but in a 2020 podcast known as the Orgasm Cult, Nicole, who is one of the former staffers, was training us to see the world the way she does. In her eyes, there's no difference between pleasure and pain. There's no such thing as good and no such thing as evil. It's all just orgasm. That was the quote.
Shit.
So, yeah.
What the fuck is she smoking?
Hey, I like an orgasm as much as the next person. But
I'm just going to load that podcast into my wife's phone.
Yeah.
It doesn't revolve my life.
Right.
So anyway.
Gwyneth looks like a sweet Polly purebred, and she's married to Chris Martin all those years, all those Coldplay songs, but she's got her vagina candles, and she was part of this thing. She must be a little bit,
some of those candles.
Mike knows a lot about things. I think he's a
little bit on the wild side.
What all flavors do they have, Mike? What did you call it, flavor? Scents. What all scents do they have?
I don't.
And how much are
you have to go on the Goop. That Goop Weds. Her brand is Goop, but their signature product is this vagina scented candle. I kid you not.
How many of them have you bought?
6. I'm just kidding. I can't imagine somebody putting that. I can't imagine what it actually smells like. I doubt it.
They buy it. It's making money.
Okay.
Turning a profit.
Honey, I'm going to buy one, okay?
Hey, ladies, are you feeling overwhelmed by hormonal changes? Well, you're definitely not alone. There are more than 1,000 hormone disruptors living in our environment right now. It's in your food, your water, the air you breathe, the clothes you wear, your skincare products. They all mess with your hormones. Then there's the natural hormone changes your body goes through, premenopause, menopause. And while it's a natural process, it doesn't mean you have to suffer through it. The good news is you don't have to suffer through it anymore, because now you have Hormone Harmony, a formula made only with herbal ingredients that are shown to reduce hormonal symptoms in women of all ages. Hormone Harmony is not just a hormone supporting supplement, it's become a phenomenon. Women can't stop talking about it on social media. A bottle of Hormone Harmony is sold every 24 seconds. And the biggest benefit? Well, my wife says it makes her feel like her own self again. And that's what women mention over and over in the reviews. And there are over 30,000 reviews for Hormone Harmony. And for a limited time, you can get 15% off your entire first order at happymammoth.com. Just use code RLRC at checkout. That's happymammoth.com and use code RLRC for 15% off today. That's happymammoth.com and use code RLRC.
Wow, hard to follow up on.
They get people like us
story.
talking about it. Right. That's how they
scratch.
All right, well, listen to this. This really had me scratching my head. We're going to go to New York. And a father of 3 was gunned down on a Rochester, New York street back in 2015. Now his convicted murderer has been set free. Why is he free? Because law enforcement accidentally put him in the wrong prison.
Oh.
The Monroe County Sheriff's Office, that's where Rochester is, Monroe County, New York, confirmed that Terrence Lewis's conviction has been vacated and he has been released from 5 Points Correctional Facility, which is a maximum security prison in Romulus, New York. The New York Sheriff's Office said Lewis was walking out on a murder conviction because law enforcement had inadvertently violated the anti-shuttling provision of the Interstate Agreement on Detainers Law.
What?
Sheriff Todd K. Baxter said the decision to let a murderer go free based on a technicality, quote, violates the principles of justice and demonstrates, quote, a lack of fairness. The federal law, this detainer's law, which was passed by Congress in 1970, states that once a prisoner has been moved to the state of the pending indictment, that case must be completely disposed of, including any trial and sentencing, prior to returning the prisoner. That make sense? But that's not what happened with Terrence Lewis. Lewis was already serving a sentence in a federal prison in Pennsylvania for unrelated crimes when he was indicted for the murder up in Rochester. This is the murder of a man named Johnny Washington. Washington's murder occurred 2 years prior to when Lewis was incarcerated in Pennsylvania. Back in January of 2018, which was 2 months after the murder indictment was filed in New York, Lewis was transported from the Allenwood Penitentiary in Pennsylvania, which is a high-security federal penitentiary, to New York's Monroe County Jail, where he was arraigned in local court on the Johnny Washington murder charge. 4 months later, in May of 2018, Lewis was returned to the Allentown prison in Pennsylvania, while the murder charge in New York remained pending. The sheriff's office noted that it is their traditional practice to return the incarcerated individual to his home correctional facility and that the sheriff's office was simply following their normal procedures. But I guess most of the time that must be within the same state. I don't know.
Nice.
In July 2018, Lewis returned to New York for his murder trial, staying in the custody of the Monroe County Jail for the legal proceedings. In October of 2018, he was convicted of murder in the second degree and sentenced to 22 years to life. Lewis then returned to the Pennsylvania prison, Allenwood, in December of 2018 and served out the rest of his federal sentence. Then in October of 2020, Lewis began officially serving time on the New York murder conviction in Monroe County. But per federal law, Lewis should not have returned to Pennsylvania until his New York case had been adjudicated. Lewis took New York State to court over the matter once he learned about the law. And last week, a New York judge ruled that Lewis's return back to Allenwood violated the law, and he was released from the Monroe County Sheriff's Office.
Because we've transported prisoners plenty of times from other states to bring them in, get them arraigned and what have you, and then bring them back. I mean, fuck, I've never heard of that. I bet you 99% of the prisoners ever heard of it.
But without fully adjudicating?
Yeah, fuck yeah. I mean, you got to charge them. You got to charge them and bring them in and book them. You're not going to
go see a judge for bail or no bail or
3. Yeah, you're not going to get bail because he's still serving time in the federal pen, and they're going to ship him back until your court date, and you get your sentence. And yet, I can't tell you how many cases I know like that. That's the first time I ever heard of that in my life.
Well, I wonder if this is going to...
They're about to open up doors.
The Monroe County Sheriff said that they went and they reviewed all of their cases, and they didn't have a single other case where this had happened.
That's crazy.
So maybe for some reason there it's rare. Maybe it's rare because, I mean, New York is a big state. People don't realize it. You're in Rochester, which is, way upstate, where here you've got...
You remember Duck coming on, Bloody and
and
they went and got Willie Roberts from the federal pen in Missouri, brought him back down just to be arraigned and shit on the murder charge, and they kept him here long enough to get information out of him. But they ended up shipping him back and then brought him back and executed him later on in the state of Louisiana.
Yeah. It happens.
No, the sheriff said that no legal argument was ever raised before, during, or after the trial about the transfer. The sheriff's office said in a statement, but unfortunately, any deviation from the federal law is subject to strict consequences. The sheriff's office added that they instituted other corrective measures, which included reviewing their transfer procedures and also training staff about the federal law.
That federal law. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
I mean, that benefits nobody but the convict.
Oh, I mean, insane.
And this murderer now is walking free. Oh, he's going to kill somebody else. They have to change that law.
Could happen. I feel like I've already been kinkied once in this episode, so
Right.
I'm that was
Kinky
foreplay.
Crimes for Thursday. All right, y'all. Y'all know I like to talk about these fetish things, but let's go. So the search results are in according to Google, and 2 top porn sites, Pornhub and X-Hamster, the Giantess fetish is the top search porn fetish for 2020. I know it, but
What's it called?
Giantess. Giantess.
I've actually heard of that.
I've never even heard of it. Giantess fetish is the top search porn fetish for 2023. What is a giantess fetish? Well, it's a fetish that involves being at the mercy of a fantastically large and powerful woman. All right. Giantess was the top fetish search term in the world in 2023. What the fuck? Where have I been living at? Additionally, Giantess was the 3rd highest grossing fetish category in 2023.
Wow.
Men are the primary consumers of the Giantess related media, and this may be due to the traditional gender roles that portray men as dominant and women as submissive. However, there are certainly women who enjoy this fetish as well, and it's important to note that the gender preferences can vary widely among fetishes. Another factor that may contribute to the gendered aspect of giant fetishism is the societal pressure for men to be physically larger and more dominant. This can lead to a fascination with the idea of a woman being larger and more powerful than them. I'm pretty sure that I don't want that. But on the other hand, women may be drawn. Yeah, no, not for me. On the other hand, women may be drawn to the idea of being larger and more dominant as a way to subvert traditional gender roles. So there you have it, folks.
There you go. And the most searched of 2023 on Google.
I gotta look that some bitch up now.
Giantess. So, Mike, you into a little?
I have never heard that term. It reminds me of the movie City Island, where a buddy of mine starred in the movie, and his son in the movie has this fetish for the woman who lives across the street. And it's actually a really sweet movie, but I'd never heard it called that.
Yeah. Giantess. And, you know, they
holy shit.
I mean, some people have fetishes. They like bodybuilders, women that, you know, take care of their bodies and they're muscled up. And then,
this has got like,
you know, when they're into it,
we've
they're
heard
into
all
it.
kinds of things. And look,
like
certain things might look good.
Yeah.
And certain other things might not look good, but might feel a lot better. You know, I mean, it's
the number one in the world. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Look at some of this stuff.
Woody's looking it up as we record.
Most of it has feet in it, though. I guess women with big feet. I don't know.
God,
it's crazy.
I don't know.
They got one.
I think he went down a rabbit hole here. He's got his Billy Goat hat on again today.
Showing Mike.
Well, wait, that's not. Wait.
This is not feet, but I guess that's what they're talking about.
Okay,
yeah, it's just
but that woman.
I think
that's
it's
more
a domination.
Like an Amazon woman. That's she looks like
Amazon women are giants.
Okay, I thought you meant just really, really heavy. You mean
like big giant.
You mean really, really big.
Oh yeah, look.
Okay.
Like,
is it both? Like
a 6'3"
I haven't
woman.
seen anybody that
something more rare.
It's just.
Well, shout out to all our giantess listeners out there.
I don't need this in my life.
What do you call it? What do you call it when you like a petite woman? What's the?
I
don't know if there's a word for that.
The opposite of giantess.
I want to say something, but I'm not going to because it'd be politically incorrect.
Okay, but 5'2" versus 5'10", would you rather have?
I don't know, kind of like a tall woman, but I don't like a giant. I mean, I don't mind. I like them all.
What about 6'4", all legs?
If your wife can post you up and like dunk on you, then
I don't want to get my ass wet.
Yeah.
I kind of like 5'2".
There's your kinky crimes for.
I know you're not 5'2".
Shout out Giants.
5'5".
Who knew?
Who knew? So look,
we need to get
something for everybody. You always say that.
That's true. Takes all kinds.
You're a Goldilocks. You're not too big, not too small. Just
no,
right.
Kind of a, what do you call that? Non-discriminate.
Yeah. You're an equal opportunity employer.
Male whore. In a former life. Swim. That was swim.
Dare you.
Give me some banjos.
Banjos. Dumb criminals.
Yeah, we got a dummy. Guess what state this dummy's from?
Pennsylvania.
Florida.
Florida, the leading state for dummies on dumb criminals. A Florida man that authorities have dubbed the serial bank robber is headed back to the slammer after he committed the same crime just one day after he was released from prison. According to the Department of Justice, 60-year-old Timothy Jones is heading back to prison after he robbed 2 banks in the Orlando area within days of being released from prison. According to court docs, Jones was released from the Putnam County Correction Facility after he served an 8-year sentence for robbing a Wells Fargo bank in Orlando. On the very next day, old habits tempted Jones to return to a bank and continue his heist. Authorities said that Jones walked into a Truist Bank on the same street as the bank he previously robbed and held up a bank employee. The 60-year-old Florida man allegedly threatened the employee and said that he had a gun and would shoot everyone in the bank if they did not hand over $150,000. He warned the Truist Bank employees that there would be a, quote, bloodbath if they failed to comply with his demands. After employees provided $30,000, Jones took the keys to an employee's car and escaped, according to the DOJ. Just a few days later, Jones walked into a South State Bank in Kissimmee, Florida, and threatened the employees that he was robbing the bank and had a gun. And guess what happened to our boy then?
He got shot?
He got caught, and he's playing some banjos back in that same jail in Orlando.
Yeah, well,
He's our dumb criminal.
He's really dumb. He looks confused.
he's just institutionalized.
He looks confused.
What?
Did
I
I
bet he
rob
had a
that
hell of a
bank?
time at the landing strip that night.
But you can
for
see
the
in
30
that
grand.
face, it's like, did I rob that bank on Tuesday?
Yeah, he doesn't look-
Maybe I'll rob another bank on Thursday. Oh, hero cop.
Super cop.
Got a little super cop coming at you today, and it is from Charlotte County. And a mother and her 2 children who were trapped in an SUV were saved by Charlotte County Deputy Sergeant Dave Musgrove after a motorcyclist slammed into the family at an estimated 100 miles per hour. 10 seconds after it passed, I saw a flash in the distance and a cloud of smoke, Sergeant Musgrove said. I just remember I was going a normal Tuesday to have pizza with my in-laws. I remember looking left and seeing him in a big light and then crash, and that from the mother that was involved in that crash. I remember honking my horn to let him know I'm here, I'm alive, I'm okay. And with more than 2 decades of experience, the deputy ran to the car. He got the toddler out first. I reassured the mom the baby was fine, and she said, "No, my baby, I didn't see my baby. All I saw was a male slumped over in the rear passenger seat," Musgrove said. 6-month-old Lola was trapped under the dead motorist, and she wasn't breathing. In the chilling body camera footage, you can see a mother saying, "My baby, is she dead?" I wanted to do as much as I could to help her, Sergeant Musgrove said. And the Charlotte County deputy went above and beyond to perform CPR on the lifeless baby until it started breathing again. Seconds or minutes or hours, Musgrove said. Time was of the essence, and I wanted to do as much as I could to help her. And now the family is, like all of us, hailing him as a hero. Wow. So we want to shout out.
Shout out to that dude.
That's right. Super Cop, and he is our Super Cop for today, Sergeant Dave Musgrove of the Charlotte County PD.
What are you, Sergeant?
Congratulations.
Dave. That's awesome. Good
Sergeant
story.
Dave.
Super Cop.
Super Cop. Super Cop.
And thanks to the heroic actions of Sergeant Dave, the Super Cop, our friends Roy, Kristen, and Kristen don't have any work to do connected with that case, thankfully. But it's a good excuse, a good reason to tell you about our pals Roy, Kristen, and Kristen, who operate under that big American flag in Broussard, Louisiana.
Yes, sir.
That's right, Mike. Parish Forensics, Louisiana Funeral Services, and Louisiana Pet Crematory are all together as a sole facility in Louisiana offering forensic autopsy, post-autopsy embalming, funeral service, cremation services, and pet cremation.
Yep, and we're heading up there next month, boys, and we're going to see how long the two of you can stand before you faint. Personally,
not long in my case.
Right? Personally, I've heard a lot about what Roy and the Christians have built up in Broussard, and I'm anxious to see the entire operation. You might want to skip breakfast that morning, Mike.
Well, I'm not too proud to puke, Woody, but like you, I'm looking forward to the trip. You know how much Ms. Jerry and I love our doggies, and knowing that Louisiana Pet Crematory is there to provide dignified, private, and communal creation services. I hope Jake lives to be 25, but when he does pass, I'm going to need a facility that can handle a large group that will attend that service.
Whether it's a family pet or a family member, and whether it's a direct cremation or a traditional 2-day funeral service with a graveside burial, you know what to do. Call 1-800-FUNERAL. That's 1-800-FUNERAL, or go to lafuneralservices.com or lapetcrematory.com. That's lafuneralservices.com or lapetcrematory.com.
Or just go drop in on under that big American flag in Broussard, Louisiana. They're all lifers, so let them know you listen and appreciate them and supporting what we do.
Rest easy. All right. Woody Overton, any final thoughts?
Man, what a show, right? We covered it all from the super cops to the
$10,000 tips.
The $10,000 tip. What about that dude getting off on that technicality? I can't help but think that the doors are going to be open all through the Department of Justice. And
but it's not a new law. It says it was 1970.
I know, but
detainer's law.
I mean, just because they had, I don't even know why. I would like to know why they initiated that law. Yeah, maybe they lost somebody.
Could be.
They shipped them to whatever and lost. Hell, I don't know. Or they let them out before they shipped them back to the next jurisdiction where they had charges. I don't know. It's crazy.
We will find out.
So, but hey, we love and appreciate each and every one of y'all. Thank you for liking and listening and sharing. Go check out the Real Life Real Crime Daily Facebook page, the Real Life Real Crime Community app, all our different stuff, and y'all send you messages. And
are you selling vagina-scented candles on that site?
I can't even talk about that.
Right.
That disturbs me.
It's in the plans, isn't it? You're planning.
No.
I can see his brain working. Coming soon,
I'm
folks.
going to sell beer-scented candles. They probably have beer-scented candles, though.
I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do.
Then I'm a genius.
Men's locker room scented candle.
That's not something I want to smell.
This show is going.
Olaf's coat.
That's all I got,
candles.
boys. That's all I got.
Till next time, I'm Jim Chapman.
And I'm
In
Woody
my
Everson.
mind, I need a candle. And I'm Mike Agavino.
For Real Life, Real Crime Daily. Peace.
Aglets, help.